Hello there my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm back with another review. I have something a little bit different for you today. People have been asking me to cover the story of Kalani and Asuelu, and so here we are. So this is 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, Season 5, Episode 9, Burnt Bridges and Bitter Truths. Very quickly, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video and all that good stuff. And without further ado, I give you Kalani and Asuelu. So I've watched the whole of Season 6, so I understand the whole background, and I'm ready to give you my opinion, and you're all entitled to it. So we catch up with this couple, and they're in Washington DC, and they're going to visit Asuelu's mum and half-sisters. So they're in an Airbnb at the moment, and the atmosphere's a little tense because, surprise, surprise, Kalani and Asuelu have been arguing again. So Asuelu apologised for being moody the previous night, so he wanted to go and see his mum as soon as the plane landed. But Kalani wanted to put the two babies to bed, and I've got to say they were screaming uncontrollably in the car as they were so tired. But nevertheless, Asuelu still wanted to go to his mum's house. And as usual, he started cursing Kalani and he dropped a couple of F-bombs. And it seems to be par for the course when Asuelu can't get what he wants. And sometimes it's almost as if Asuelu says, "Kalani, your idea sounds logical and rational. Yep, I'm all decided. Let's do it my way." And although I feel sorry for Kalani, I realise the first step to forgiveness is realising that the other person was born a half-wit. And Kalani lets us know that her sister, Kalini, is coming down to Washington so that she can help the couple out with the children. And so before they go to see his mum, talk turns to money. So the situation is thus. Apparently it's customary whenever you meet your family, if you're Samoan, that you have to give them cash. And at the moment, Asuelu and Kalani are living with her parents, and he's only working part-time, so he only earns $1,000 a month, and wouldn't you know it, that's the exact amount that his mum wants. So last week he and Kalani had a phone call with his mum and his sister, and they asked for $1,000, and when Asuelu said he couldn't afford $1,000 because he has to pay for the house and for the children and for the car, his mum said, "Take the car back to the dealership." And she became quite belligerent. She said, "Your family comes first and we're your number one priority." And the whole thing was quite strange to me because I thought, you're sitting looking at your two grandchildren. Are they not family? It's quite interesting. And since coming from Samoa a year or so before, Asuelu has worked himself from destitution right up to extreme poverty. So any money that's going to be given to his family pretty much will come from Kalani's parent. But it was quite strange because last week they both went out to buy lots of different gifts for the family, and they went to a specialist Samoan shop, which I can only assume has imports in, and they bought lots of needless gifts. They bought several t-shirts for $41 each. All in all, they spent just under $200, ostensibly on rubbish. And whilst they were in that shop, we got a window into the world of Asuelu, and he was walking around the shop like a child, grabbing everything, and he wants to take lots of gifts and give them money too, and he says he wants to make a closer relationship by giving them lots of money. He wants to give $1,000. And when Kalani asked him, "Where's this $1,000 going to come from?" he said, "From my pocket." And she said, "Okay, so that's all of your salary. How are we going to pay all of our bills?" And he said, "Don't worry, God will provide a way to pay the bills." And Kalani said, "I only want to give them $50. And Asuelu said, $50 is nothing. I can give you $50 right now." He reached into his pocket and came out with a couple of moths. And he said, "Sorry, I don't have any money." "Oh, Asuelu, sometimes you really are a fool." And Kalani's really worried that he's going to blame this whole money issue on her. And she said to producers, "He always throws me under the bus." And it seems to me that he does. He's done it so many times, she can pretty much fix the brake. So they all get into the car and go to meet his mum. And when we see her, I can tell she's a little bit, how can I say, different. Yep, that's it, she's different. She's the kind of woman who does and says whatever the voices tell her to do. After about 30 seconds or so in her company, you pretty much want to tell her to shut the F up. Guys, she really is as mad as a box of frogs. And Asuelu said, "Sorry we didn't come over yesterday." But strangely enough, Kalani doesn't seem that sorry. She's just busy trying to work out ways that she can minimise her time with Asuelu's mum. And his mum kisses the two babies and she says, "I dream of you every night. And I miss you, my son, I miss you so much." And so she says, but not so much that she could be bothered to go to his wedding. Then Asuelu goes to embrace his mum. And guys, it's literally the weirdest greeting I've ever seen. She kissed him full on the lips for about 30 seconds. It was honestly a passionate kiss. It was so strange. Kalani and Kalini stood there in stunned silence. And honestly guys, it was super awkward. Everybody was staring. I actually felt super awkward even just watching on the TV. And they all get on, I think, a tram or a subway to go to the restaurant. And Asuelu said to Kalani, I feel great seeing my mum and my family. How do you feel, Kalani? I think that was really weird and really odd. Your mum just kissed you full on the lips. And Asuelu just flat out denied it. He said, no, we kissed on one cheek and then the other. Asuelu, no you didn't. Your mum kissed you full on the lips for ages. And Kalani said, I feel a little awkward because you were making out with your mum. And of course Asuelu was super embarrassed. So he dropped a couple more F-bombs and stormed off. Kalani laughed and said, you're a big baby. And so they all decide to go and eat at a box park. And Kalani tells us her and Asuelu are having yet another argument because he didn't like what she said. And she continues, I still don't see anything wrong with what I said. Kalani, yes you do. You've intimated that they have an inappropriate relationship. Or at the very least, they're as weird AF. Nobody's going to like that. And it's pretty obvious he wasn't going to like it because he sought to deny what had even happened in front of everybody. So anyway, they go inside to eat. And honestly, I think these guys are crazy eating at a box park. Box parks in England are super expensive. Lobster roll, £18. Fish and chips, £22. £22! It should be £8, no more than 10. And considering he's only got $50 to give his mum, they're as stupid as all hell going there. They both should reconsider their choice of eatery. So they all sit down in the restaurant, and it's up to Asuelu to buy everybody's food. So instead of finding out what people wanted and going and buying what he needed, he walked to the first truck and said, I want the best of the best. Give me everything you have, one of everything, but just the best. Guys, he's infuriating. You have no money, you're skint, you're living with Kalani's parents, yet you're spending through the nose on stupid things. And when he came back, he had enough food for about 15 people. And I know he's hoping to buy his family off, but to me it would make more sense to spend nothing on the t-shirts, to spend as little as possible on lunch, and so then maybe you can give them $2.50. That would make sense to me. And so whilst they were getting the food, Kalani mentioned things again. She said it's just so weird you making out with your mum. Kalani, stop it now. You know you're being a wind-up. The use of the phrase making out is egregious, and you know it. So Asuelu says to Kalani, I hope they don't mention the money tonight. I just want us all to get along. So halfway through eating, Asuelu then says, I've got everybody gift. Asuelu, you know good and well that you've now triggered their thought process. And just like clockwork, Tammy, his sister, said, did you bring any money for mum? And then his mum chimed in and said, how much money you bring for me? Oh Lord, this isn't going to go well. And he kept looking over at Kalani and he tentatively said, $100? And Tammy said, 100, that's all. And Kalani said, I think that's a lot of money. And she said, it's got nothing to do with you. I think you'll find it has, because I think you'll find it's her purse the money will be coming from. But thanks for your input, Tammy. And then his mum said, I want to send some money to Samoa. I need money. I need to send it to relatives. I want to send some to the church. The church, you say? I'm pretty certain Asuelu said, God will provide. And his mum continued, this is your responsibility. You know that your mum and your dad are still alive. Oh, what's that I see in the distance? Oh, it seems like a bus. Get ready, Kalani. You're about to be thrown under it because Asuelu then says, well, I need to discuss with my wife and then we agree on it. And we don't really have a lot of money. I only work part-time. And Tammy says, well, you need to be a man and you should work full-time. Then you can look after your little family and you can look after your other family. Asuelu's mum said Kalani and her family have got a lot of money. They'll take care of the kids. And he said, I don't want to ask them to take care of the kids. These are my responsibility. And his mum said, where is your mind? Where is your mind? What is wrong with you? And then Tammy pipes up, back home, we have to send money no matter what. And then Kalani asked Tammy, do you send money home? And guys, Tammy gave Kalani a death stare which seemed to last right from hospitalisation all the way through to funeral. The death stare lasted about 30 seconds. And she snapped, it's none of your business. And then Asuelu's mum said, we're asking my son, leave my daughter alone, it's nothing to do with you. And Asuelu said, come on guys, let's not let money come between us. And his mum said, I've run out of patience. I want to go home now, I'm done. And with that, halfway through the meal, all of them stood up and stormed out. They didn't say thank you, they didn't say bye, nothing at all. They dropped the mic and exited the building. And outside, she blames Kalani for the lack of money. She said he used to give me money all the time, but as soon as he got together with that Kalani, he stopped giving money. I think you'll find that when he got together with Kalani, he had a baby and then another baby immediately. That's where the money's gone. And poor Asuelu, I do feel sorry for him at the moment because he said, Kalani always says my family are money hungry, and today I see that that's true. And that's where we leave everything for this week. So here's my take on proceedings. The whole situation was not managed properly. They live in America and they know how much things cost, so they know it's not cheap, and so they understand the value of $1. I have a feeling they're very, very greedy, and I think no matter how much money he gives them, they will always want more. They will always push him to his limit. So he needs to put his foot down now. If they don't want to speak to him because he doesn't give them money, that's absolutely fine, then I guess we don't speak. But Asuelu needs to get a backbone, and because they see that he's very weak, they give him lots of pressure. And the second thing that I see is he makes it really easy for them to blame Kalani, but she should have put her foot down when he was buying loads of food. She should have put her foot down when he spent £200 on t-shirts. You can spend $10 on a t-shirt, and then he could have given them $250 or $300. So whilst I think she should help him to navigate this situation, I don't think that she should be in charge of it in any way. I just think if Kalani takes over the situation, it will be another instance of her having to manage Asuelu, and it's almost like she's got 3 children. And I also think that Tammy was very rude to Kalani, and really Asuelu should have stood up for Kalani and said, Tammy, don't speak to my wife like that. And I feel very sorry for Asuelu in this situation because he just wants his mum to love him. He just wants the love of his sisters and his family. He's in a foreign land, he feels a little bit discombobulated, and all they seem to want is money. It really is a terrible cross to bear for him. Do we think that Kalani and Asuelu were lost the distance? I really have my doubts, I really do. I keep reading things on Twitter where people say, he's not very mature, he's very childish, but I actually don't think it's that. Not being rude, but I actually just don't think he's massively bright. This is a person who said, I want to go to Samoa. Never mind that there's a measles epidemic, but let's go and take my 1-year-old and 2-year-old. That's not immaturity, that's lack of intelligence. Spending £200 on t-shirts isn't lack of maturity, it's lack of forethought. You know very well they already have clothes. They are not going to be bowled over by a t-shirt, so why not just give them the money? I think sometimes he doesn't know how to handle a situation, so his idea is just to run away. He's 23 now, I don't see that getting any better. So guys, let me know what you think in comments down below. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe and to like and to share and all that good stuff. And I'll see you very soon. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.